Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod Season 10, Episode 12. We're the Midwest's most dangerous podcast, and we're brought to you by Powering Indiana, Lake County. HIBEW. Look, oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Is that messed up?
What?
What happened?
No, you're right.
Hey, Jill. Look at you in the studio.
Hi.
This was like an emergency text to Jill.
Yeah. Lynn's woke up sick.
The notorious LMP canceled that.
Woke up sick. You need a voice to,
What's the
to be
time?
Oh,
on
is that what
podcast.
happened? She
Huh?
didn't even say she woke up sick. She said,
told me.
Oh,
She explained.
I want to say like 6:48, 6:55.
Let's get a timestamp here.
Yeah, John.
6:57 a.m.
Okay, 6:57, and then I texted Jill at probably
6:58.
All right, at least it was quick.
Yeah,
It's remarkable.
And
And
I
that's no short trek. You live on the north side.
that's right.
Yeah.
She was up by
Up
Shacktown.
north.
Yeah.
Jill walked in. And she was like, First of all, we were impressed. Secondly, she said she didn't even have socks on. That's
Really?
how fast she got out of her house.
I go sockless a lot.
Not because you're late though.
Not in winter.
By choice.
It's freaking too cold to go
It's not
sockless.
winter.
I got hey dudes right now. It's freaking 50 degrees outside. When I grew up, that was winter.
This is perfect.
When I grew up, 50 degrees was as cold as it got. Like, nah.
Must be nice.
Sometimes when I woke up, there would be frost on our windshield.
Look at you.
And I would
Live
be
in
like,
Did you know what to do?
no, I didn't. We never scraped though. We always drove with the little heating like hole.
Oh, the
in
hole,
window,
the
and you're, like,
dangerous
looking
hole?
through. Yeah.
I did that this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm in Big Red, the old
Oh,
truck this morning.
Big
Yeah.
Red.
It was enough to get frost last night, huh?
It was more like condensation.
Yeah,
I was
I park
gonna say.
outside. It was, yeah. But anyway, we're brought to you today by Powering Indiana, Lake County. IBEW Local 697 and NECA proudly introduced Powering Indiana, Lake County. With over a century of experience, they've been safely wiring the region and is your trusted source for electrical professionals. Visit jacked697.org to join us as we continue to light the way for Northwest Indiana. That's Powering Indiana, Lake County. Thank you for being our premium sponsor today.
Thank you.
Hey.
Powering Indiana, Lake County.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you two for
You too?
Showing up.
for showing something to me I had no idea existed with Apple before. This was during the intro song. You guys realize a lot.
We
John.
don't get to scoop our producer very
No.
often.
I've showed John a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah.
Not often.
Scooping
It's
you
IT
is a
stuff, though.
Yeah, scooping you is a big deal for technology.
True. Yeah, you can search in notes.
Apple Notes. There's a search bar.
I had no idea.
Kevin and I have been doing this for a couple of years. We're like notes experts because we do everything for the show on notes.
I would say this though, when I showed it to Tom, he was equally impressed.
Yeah.
He was like,
It's a
"Oh
game
my
changer.
God, we can."
Yeah. Well, I
Right?
do it during the shows.
Yeah, because go
Because
ahead.
like sometimes during the show, I know we've talked about something before, so I'll type in a search word like Batistatos or something like that, right?
for example,
For example, right? And like I
Word
know
just
we've talked
rolls off
about
your tongue.
Spiros multiple times on the show. So if I type that into my search word, every show where we were planned to talk about him, like
Yeah.
if we had planned material, like if it's impromptu, obviously it's not going to be in show notes, but everything is in show notes. I mean, topic wise. So if I typed in a keyword like that, every episode where it was discussed would pop up.
it's like Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Yeah, it would top.
Todd
I put,
Rokita.
yeah,
Todd Rokita.
Todd Young. Like, I mean, although we
yeah.
haven't talked about him for
Sure.
a long time, yeah, there's plenty of episodes where we talked about him.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool thing. So, and show notes, I mean, this started off, notes for me started off like to-do lists and stuff like that, right? And then it's developed into what we use for the show is like Kevin and I put a script down and everybody's got access to it except for Jill.
Yeah, shared notes. Well, she chooses Android.
She chooses not. She likes
But
going
we can't rip Jill today. She's here. She got here.
Screw you guys.
She likes walking
She
the
walks
tightrope.
out.
She walks the tightrope every day.
Yeah.
She goes, no notes.
Lindsay might not
Old
show up.
freaking school.
I might have to get in my car. and
Lindsay, we
drive.
have notes, but Lindsay doesn't read them.
No, well, right.
Like
we should
ever.
we should note that about the notes.
Right, but
I
love
like
the
to
notes.
be surprised.
You were today.
Yeah, she
Sure was.
Hey, I think I did something a little bit edgy on Friday.
Oh,
So Friday was the Arab Day of Rage, right?
according to a Hezbollah leader, former Hamas leader, maybe. I
Right, and
forget.
I'm obviously following what's
I
going on.
missed
Yes.
that one.
It was. I'm following it real closely. I'm very interested, and it's very sad, and it's intriguing, and I've been paying a lot of attention, and haven't been paying a lot of attention to Ukraine lately, which is, I think, a typical American reaction.
Yeah, that is crazy that the news
Suddenly,
cycle.
is there something going on in
changes.
Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But so obviously on Friday, Hezbollah, was it Hezbollah that announced that Day of
I
Rage,
forget
or
if it was a
was
former
Hamas?
Hamas.
It was
leader.
Hamas
It was
that
a
announced
former Hamas
Right.
leader.
But
or
anyway,
former Hezbollah leader.
They announced it was going to be an Arab Day of Rage, and they were going to recognize it on Friday. and then basically talk to people across the world saying it's a day of rage, and I don't know what that means because I'm not Arab, but like I imagine it's not good, right?
Could be anything from protesting to making your point known to hopefully
Protesting,
not violence.
I can handle protesting.
Yeah, but violence would be bad.
Right. So I had tickets to a Fish concert for that same day on the day of rage. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right? I just happened to get one goddamn day.
Do you really think they're like focusing on the Fish concert though?
But
It's like a
like-
bunch of hippies
Dude, I'm surrounded by like
getting
nothing
stoned and
but like I'm surrounded by nothing but white people
Yeah.
at a Fish show on the day of rage.
not very angry white people though. They're like
No,
like,
but nonetheless.
yes.
Like the peace concert in Israel, right?
Good point.
It wasn't a bunch of hating people.
Yeah,
It was a peace
very
concert.
good point.
I'm at a freaking Fish show.
Very good point.
And I'm like, I don't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
What is a Fish show on a day of rage? So I was on guard, dude. I was with Marissa, and I was like constantly reminding
what were you gonna
her.
do though?
I was gonna freaking hit
Hit the deck?
Hell yeah, dude. I had my sneakers on that day. I was ready.
With
I was
socks?
Ready. I was ready. Yeah,
It sucks.
but I was ready. I was ready for action.
No, I'm
Thank
glad
God nothing happened.
Yeah, it
Hasn't,
didn't seem
like-
nothing much happened on the day of anger,
Like
day of rage.
Day of Rage aside, going to concerts now, like since the Mandalay Bay thing, aren't you guys like always a little bit?
Yeah,
in Vegas.
I'm always
Yeah.
like that. Whenever I'm in a group, I'm always aware.
Yeah, more than I ever was.
I'm always like that.
But I would also say that it seems like the facilities have stepped up their game a bit too. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like when you're in a United Center, it's a heavy presence to get in, so you feel somewhat
a
protected.
little bit, but you never know. It's like kind of like
No,
are
if
they
they
really
overwhelm-
watching?
Well,
Yeah.
no, not just that. It's a bunch of dudes making $10 an hour, and they're not like heavily armed.
Right.
Like if you had an attack on the United Center where you have 20 people with automatic weapons,
You'd be successful.
you'll
probably.
overpower.
Although
them
there are a
easily.
lot of police there too. I would say that.
right, but
I
still,
guess.
like they could get into the building.
Sure.
And if they get into the building, it could be a bad situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, there are definitely soft targets around the world, around the country.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
So I was not thrilled about.
I'm
being
glad you survived
at
both
a
the
Fish
Fish
show
concert
on
and
the day of rage. I'm like, I don't know about the day of rage, and why did it have to be that night? Could have been any night,
Right?
Yeah.
Why they have to
Yeah.
call it
As
for
soon
that
as they
day.
announced it, the value of my Fish ticket dropped like 15%.
I bet.
Yeah, I couldn't resell it at that
No.
point. I was upside down.
People are hanging
So I
out,
went.
hanging in on the day.
I was
going
gonna flip those suckers.
Yeah.
But nothing ended up happening worldwide.
Not,
I mean,
no,
like,
nothing huge, right?
Other than
mean-
I think heavy protests all weekend, but on the day of rage itself, I don't think so.
I heard there was a stabbing in France, but
Oh,
they weren't
that's
able
right.
to establish if it was because of the day of rage. Or
I'm
not.
gonna chalk it up to yes.
Okay, we're
I'm
gonna
gonna chalk it up.
So you're gonna give the day of rage like one tally mark.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paris too, by the way, a hotbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
True.
I'm gonna chalk it up to the day of rage.
Okay.
Let's give him, a little credit there.
Give 'em
I
that.
think it definitely. I think it definitely.
Yeah. Other than that, I just saw a bunch of protests and counter protests and.
And
things
then there
like
was yesterday. This is a serious note. Yesterday in Belgium, did you guys
that.
hear
Yes.
about that?
Yes.
Terrible.
Really? What
Especially-
happened? I didn't even hear it.
Shooting. Like a gunman was out shooting, and he shot 2 people from Sweden. It was during a Brussels-Sweden soccer match.
And
Dude,
he went
that
on.
sucks.
He went on Facebook and said, he killed 2 infidels or whatever.
Really?
Whoa.
So it's pretty clear what that was about. But
You know what? I mean, honestly, and I'm not making light of anything. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that happens in Chicago on a Tuesday. A
I don't-
shooting.
Yeah,
like,
but
where a couple
not.
people
I don't
died.
think a terrorist-inspired shooting.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Well,
you're right.
Is it
People
any
get-
different?
People
If
get
it's
killed
a
all the
gang
time.
that like
Well,
kills
here-
a bunch of people in front of Comiskey during a White Sox game, it's
Look-
the same. Like that's unique. That's going to happen any summer night. in
Yesterday in
Chicago.
Plainfield, or 2 days ago in Plainfield, right? A 6-year-old Palestinian kid was stabbed by his landlord.
that.
And
Yeah, I
you
saw
know,
that.
this
And the
guy
mom
looked
got stabbed,
crazy,
too.
right? Yeah.
No,
so-
that's terrorist inspired. I mean,
well,
that's
it's
crazy,
crazy, man.
That's a reaction. Yeah, obviously. Ugh, it's so bad. What's going on in the world right now?
But you're right. You're right. Stuff like that. People are killed every day on the streets of Chicago, and it's not reported. Yeah, people are killed around the country.
I got Marissa out of there a couple minutes early too. I just wanted to get out, and I didn't want to be part of the. So we left.
That's you.
I did like 3.5 hours, and I knew it was a 3. I watched the show notes. I knew it was going to be like 3 hours and 45 minutes. So we got out like 15 minutes early.
That is so you.
It is me. That's how I go. I roll that way. I get out of games. I leave early. I'm the kind of guy that leaves early.
You're the
Phil.
7th inning guy.
That's an
Eighth.
old man trick.
It
I
is. Thank you.
Agree. When I was a kid, I would go to games with like your friends' parents, and there was a couple guys that always left early. And as a kid, I was like, man,
It
we're
makes
leaving the
sense
game
now, though.
early. But now I love it.
Yeah. It depends on the game. I'm not leaving the freaking World Series early.
Right.
Hold on a second. Hold on. During concerts, the best songs are the encores. You guys are telling me you take off before the best songs are
I
played?
did. I was
I
there
ha-
for
I-
3.5 hours.
I
It's not like I
have.
freaking walked out 2 songs into the show. I literally was there 3.5 hours, John. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I left.
John, if you remember on our Lockpod LA Dead trip, we left during the encore, right?
Yes,
at the
we did.
encore.
I left. I
You were-
left.
and you were with us.
I left
remember that.
Cincinnati and where else did I go on the road? I left Cincinnati like a song or at least early because
In LA, because it was Black River.
the
yeah,
Dead Show.
and
It's the same thing as the Dead Show. You've been there 3+ hours. It's like, come on, I can handle a song off. Like for God's sake,
Depends on the encore.
I'm freaking usually not in the best condition.
Depends what
either.
the encore is, but yes, I agree. Well, like for example, Wrigley Field, I think it was U.S. Blues, and we left right during it.
because I do like the US
Yeah.
Blues. But I like US Blues as I'm walking out to get to my car and beat the freaking traffic. I'm the kind of guy that leaves early. That's how I roll, man. I
You
leave
can-
Notre Dame games early.
You can miss things
Yeah.
if you leave early.
Yeah.
Comebacks, Cubs
Oh,
comebacks.
It's happened before.
Yep.
It sucks, but more times than not, I don't leave when the game is in question. Like I was at the USC game the other day, stayed until it was over. Once Notre Dame picked off the ball, no, they got the punt and they returned it for a punt return, put them up 3 scores with like 5 minutes left. Gone. It was over, dude.
I'm with you.
And I got to the car. I missed a couple of
All right,
touchdowns.
so here's a question. All right, Cubs are losing 4-2 in the 8th.
What? When game?
Beautiful day in July.
You got to stay.
Gone, dude. What? Gone. Gone.
See, that was I thought that was a good. That's a good
Midday
test, right?
in July. Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking regular season.
4-2?
Gone.
Down.
Regular
They're
season.
not coming back.
How many regular season games are there? 162.
81 at home.
Later. Gone.
Well,
dude.
well. Okay, you're talking to two people here. One of them has season tickets. The other
Yes.
one does not. So I'm staying. Sorry.
Okay. I have season tickets.
I'm savoring
See
the
ya.
moment.
That's
Yeah.
a joy of having season
Yeah, it
tickets.
must be nice.
I'm
You
not
don't have
dealing
80,
with
you don't
that
have
shit.
81.
I have 10 games. That's
Okay,
That's
right.
1/10. 10%. You're out.
yeah.
Okay. How
I
many?
watch every game.
How
too,
many of
Kev.
the games? That's true.
I've been to
How many games did you skip out on this year early? Out of 10.
all of them.
Boy,
All of
I
them.
can't wait to reach this status someday. I could just leave
I
games
gotta tell
early
you,
on a
John,
whim.
When I'm with Tom and he's like, "You ready to go?" I'm good with it. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, let's go."
It's
No,
usually
I
like
get
the
it.
bottom of the 8th.
I get it.
But do
And
you
like-
put the game on the radio
Yes.
as you're leaving?
Yeah.
And sometimes you
Yes.
hear the cheering
I
and
do.
as you're leaving, you're like,
Yeah.
"Damn it! What happened? What just happened?"
I hate that.
Yeah.
I'll be walking to the car.
I want no
Dame.
cheering.
Oh my God! People
Right.
start screaming. You're like, oh
Oh,
shit,
no.
dude, something
Oh, no.
happened.
Yep.
But usually, if I leave,
But more than not, you don't hear that.
when I leave an NBA game, it's over, dude. Like, there's no way I don't leave. Like at Ohio State, I left early, but like I left
You
like
left early.
it was like the last 20 seconds. I stayed until it was over. When Notre Dame,
That's not even barely.
when
early.
Ohio State,
That's,
I
you
left
can't
early.
Count that early.
I left early. I didn't stay. I've never watched a Notre Dame sing after a game. I've never,
Ever?
I've never heard "Go Cubs Go" in person.
Oh,
And
come
never.
on.
I'm a freaking season ticket holder. And other than the playoffs, I heard it during the playoffs
Yes.
because I'm not leaving in the playoffs. But regular season, see ya.
I tend to stay if they're winning. I like to see the win, but if they're losing, I'm out.
Marissa's in chat.
She'll verify.
I'm guessing based on her comments, she's not the biggest fan of leaving early. I
She
could be
never
wrong.
argues.
We missed
Okay.
2 touchdowns at the end of the USC game.
We did.
She
True story.
left early. You didn't
Junk.
leave after the
Junk touchdown. No, we left 5 minutes left in the game. She wasn't arguing. She wasn't crying. Like, I love this.
and the
proxy
green
battle.
fireworks.
Oh, we did. We missed fireworks. Yeah.
You said
Tom's
there's
like-
green fireworks?
I didn't even know that.
Tom's
I
like-
saw it
You
on
didn't know
Twitter.
that.
There was fireworks. I did see that.
Tom's in Michigan City, and they're listening to the last fourth quarter.
I did hear the fireworks. We were walking, and I heard fireworks. I was like, that must be like hillbilly fireworks. It's like somebody. But I found out it was like just rando,
Some local?
illegal fireworks show. But it was put on by University of Notre Dame. I found out.
Little would you know.
They were really nice from what I heard. But I've seen fireworks before.
True.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, I'm the kind of guy that leaves early.
What
can I
about
say?
like the Festival of the Lakes? You leave early?
Always.
Oh, 100%.
No, I do. I do. I usually make it through the show there. It's work. I'm working.
Yes.
Right. But
That's
I
your
don't-
job.
I don't stay after, and I'm usually not drinking. So, like,
Yep.
right.
All right.
Yeah, that's
was
me.
good.
That's how I roll.
Let's do some ads.
No, we have, okay, you want to bring the story after? We have
Sure.
it before. The police canine, that was supposed to be before ads.
Let's do that after.
Okay, so come back after ads.
This is if you are a dog lover, this story is going to piss you off.
If you're like a Law and Order person, the
That's
story's gonna
true,
piss
too.
you off.
Yes,
This is
yes.
a bad story for the region, man. It happened in Crown Point with the police canine. It's going to piss you off. So
Yeah.
come back so you can get pissed. All right.
That's what we like here.
Yeah, we like
Get
to-
pissed.
Get your blood
Maybe
boiling.
that's a good title,
Show up
John.
to work
Get
pissed off.
Get pissed.
We want to freaking torque you up before you get into work.
That'd be a good T-shirt. Get pissed. The Midwest most dangerous podcast.
Yeah.
Get pissed.
We'll twerk you up.
We'll
We'll
torque
We'll twerk.
you.
Whatever
jerk
that
you
means.
off.
I don't know.
Torque you up. What did you
I
say?
have no idea what Tom
The
said.
MGT. No, what was it?
What did you
No,
say? We're
not-
going to torque you off?
No, I said we'll jerk you off.
He
That was
said
that.
That was Marjorie Taylor Greene. No, that was
Lauren Boebert's.
Lauren
Sorry.
Boebert's.
They're all the
campaign
same.
Vote
sign.
for Lauren Berber. She'll jerk you off.
It's so.
It's a
It's a 50-50.
It's
Yeah,
a legitimate sign,
it's
like in Colorado. It's
She
so
couldn't.
funny.
She couldn't
really?
say. Yeah, it was in somebody's yard.
Vote for Lauren Berber. She'll jerk you off. So.
You got my vote.
See, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
I just want to see. All right, Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint. The premier
Rick's so happy that we rolled right
rolled
into
right
that.
into it. She'll jerk you off. Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltensberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time, always within budget. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Misprint, your partner for creating impactful visual solutions.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. When you're facing legal challenges or injuries, they're here to guide you through the process. Their dedicated team, including John and Kristen Cantrell, is in the court and in the jail every day, ready to fight for your rights. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com and discover how they can make a difference in your case.
Calumet Brewing, Busch Light, the coldest and smoothest light lager, is calling you to embrace the great outdoors, the roar of NASCAR, and the joy of cracking a cold one. Celebrate life's moments with Busch Light, and then head over to Cal Brew on Facebook or Instagram for a chance to win a Busch Light Igloo cooler. Visit Busch.com and their social media pages for exciting updates and events. Head for the mountain of Busch Light. Head for the mountain of Busch Light and enjoy beers and cheers responsibly. Sorry.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, exactly.
Busch Light.
Prestomer Insurance Company. For decades, the Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Their wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance, has helped over 1,000 individuals and businesses throughout the Chicagoland area. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Thank you to our sponsors, including our episode sponsor, Powering Indiana, Lake County.
All right, there's a article in the newspaper this morning I heard about from my police department yesterday.
It was on the cover. Look.
It was on the cover, yeah, and it
Poster
went
me.
online yesterday morning, and I started hearing grumbling from my police department about how something happened in Crown Point that pissed off the Hammond police officers, and I was like, "What's going on, guys?" And they said there was a canine in Crown Point that was making an arrest for somebody that was driving recklessly, and when the canine went into the car, the person in the car grabbed the canine by the throat, started gouging its eyes, and then choked it to the point where the canine started its eyes rolled to the back of its head. Its handlers were demanding the guy stop choking the canine. The gentleman wouldn't stop. The defendant wouldn't stop, so they tased him. He let the dog go. They got the dog out of the situation, forcibly arrest the guy in the car, and the dog ended up surviving, thank God.
Yeah, so a little background. So it's a guy in a Maserati going 86 and a 45 in Crown Point. Guy from Kenosha, Wisconsin, 32, something like that, year-old guy. Won't get out of the car, won't obey the officer's commands. They bust the windshield, or not the windshield, the window, the driver's side window, maybe the passenger window to get him out. Still doesn't get out. By the way, that didn't turn into a big story on CNN like another one did. But
Yeah, right.
and so they decide to deploy the canine into the car to get him out.
Good move.
Yeah,
And then
should do it.
So no, obviously
Wow.
this happened Saturday night.
Aggressive.
Like, I imagine like late Saturday, early Sunday morning. Most people are sleeping.
Yeah, you're right. 2:37 a.m.
Okay.
on Main Street.
So like, when you have a police canine, that's an officer. It's an officer of the law. If it dies in the line of duty, we've had dogs recently. One of the canines from one of the local agencies recently died in the line of duty,
yeah.
got shot, and they had a full-blown police funeral for it. These are officers. And I realize they're canines, but they are treated like police officers, and the law treats them like police officers as well. Correct, Ed?
I don't know about that, actually. I'm not sure if it's like resisting law enforcement if you resist a canine, or if there's like battery on a law enforcement officer. I don't know about that.
There was an update to this story where they updated it because, I'm not saying it has anything to do with outrage. I was fucking pissed when I heard this, man. Like, first off, as a mayor, I know that we treat these dogs like officers.
Yeah, you do.
And if they die in the line of duty, that's an officer that went down in the line of duty. Okay? They're tools that are used by our police department for officer safety. It's way safer for the canine to go into the car than to send that Crown Point officer.
Yet, it's risky for the canine.
It's risky for the canine. It's certainly riskier for a human. Okay? So, and these dogs cost upwards of $40,000 to $50,000. I don't think people realize that. They're extremely expensive because they're so well trained. We don't even get the dogs until they're they're almost 2 years old by the time an officer will get that dog, because it's been trained fully in German, by the way. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. So that
their commands are in German?
Yes.
Wow.
It makes sense.
Holy cow.
So that when they get commands from their handler,
unless you're German.
I don't know German.
No.
Most Americans don't know German, so it's a good thing for them to know German.
That's good.
And
I
the
like
dog
that.
knows German, so
Smart.
unless you know German, you could yell back at the dog, "Stop biting me!" If you know
That
German,
would be something. I would love to hear.
Stop biting me!
I would love to hear a police officer say yeah, and then the guy commanded the dog to stop in German.
Maybe you're more fluent in German than the officer.
Learning German now.
You're like having a conversation with
the
the dog.
He's
yeah.
licking you.
So if you're a criminal, learn German.
The update on the story that you referenced, Tom, was that actually 2 of the officers were injured as well.
Yep.
So it was.
I'm sure
canine
they were
and
injured going in to save the officer,
without a doubt.
the canine.
Without a doubt.
I'd fuck that dude up if he was messing my dog.
I'm sure.
Dog.
See?
By the way, because a canine is assigned to an officer, as you know, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't your brother canine officer?
No, he is not.
No. Okay. Well, the canine is assigned to the officer, and they'll spend their whole
It's like they're partners. I mean,
they go home together.
Yeah.
They live together after, and it's literally like a member of the family for an officer. And that dog protects the officer's life, so there's a very close bond between the officer and the dog.
There's an officer that lives a couple blocks away from me, and he and his dog are together.
Yeah.
All the time.
So imagine you see your dog partner, getting choked out.
Gosh.
So of course you're going in the car, and this obviously is a dangerous person you're dealing with. He's killing a police dog. I've never heard of this before.
Me neither.
Police dogs are freaking tough.
They're very tough.
Dude, I got tackled by a police dog in training, by the way. It was training.
That's it. We've seen search the notes. That's
I'm a big guy, man. I'm 215 pounds. Okay. That dog was about 50, 55 pounds, took me down.
And you had a big thing on.
Took me down so simply. Wow. It was so easy for the dog to take me down. It was like a missile. Like if I threw 50 pounds coming at you at 15 miles an hour, if I just threw something that weighed 50 pounds at you, it would take you down.
Wow.
That's what the dog does. It's like a torpedo. Hits you while it's flying in the air, and you go down.
With its teeth ready.
Oh, it's in you. It grabs you and pulls you like from the air. It's just like, bam, hits you like a torpedo. Wow. It's crazy. But so anyway, I've been trying not to do this stuff lately where I piss people off on Facebook and I post stuff, but I couldn't do it yesterday, man. I'm like, dude, this is bullshit. Like, we have to have certain rules in society. When I say we, the judges, the prosecutor's office, we need to protect our police officers. They're our soldiers on the front line fighting bad guys, and there's plenty of freaking bad guys here in America as well.
Well, and it's a profession that is, having trouble getting people to join now.
And we're letting the reason I mentioned the gentleman, I use the term very loosely because this guy's a piece of shit, and it sounds better to say gentleman than piece of shit. This guy that got arrested, who almost killed that dog, gets arrested at 2 a.m. on Saturday and bonds out on a $2,500 bond Sunday morning.
The curious thing to me about
$2,500. He almost killed a police dog.
Wow. Yeah,
$50,000 police dog.
So, like, 2 things, right? One is what you just brought up, is the nature of the offense. The second thing that I was curious, and I just don't know the answer to this. I probably John would know. Is that John Cantrell would know? Is that sorry, John? Yeah, is that
he's still searching the notes over here.
Usually, when someone's from out of state, the bond. I mean, the whole purpose of bond, right, is to ensure your appearance at your court hearing. So when you're from out of state or out of the country, usually that's a factor in setting bond. I don't know if it was in this case. So
can they get him for like animal cruelty?
I would think so.
That kind of stuff.
Could you guys pull up this morning's? If I could do it actually. Hold on. You guys keep talking.
What do you?
There's an
talking
update.
about?
There's an
an
update.
update. John has it.
On the charges,
There's an update on charges.
right here,
Yeah,
Monday.
Right here. Yep.
it's at the end of the article.
Battering a public safety official, resisting law enforcement, striking, interfering with a law enforcement animal. There you go. So there's a separate charge.
Okay.
And operating while intoxicated.
That got
There you go.
added yesterday morning.
Striking / interfering
On
with a
Monday.
law enforcement
Okay.
animal.
So
Okay,
give
so
it,
that must
so
be
give
a
it
separate.
up. Give it up because the prosecutor's office came through on Monday morning.
That's great.
Because that's unacceptable. That's freaking unacceptable. Letting a guy walk for $2,500
So-
after almost killing a police dog. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, so for some reason, like the the guy was arrested over the weekend, and usually there's the charges take some time to get processed, right? The paperwork and the charges. So I'm not sure why the bond was set at $2,500 that morning while he was in there. Mm-hmm. That's strange. And OWI, you got to sit anyway overnight for sure. So I'm not sure how long he sat before he bonded out, or why the bond was that low. Was that low?
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a tough subject we're going to cover here, okay? And we're not going to get into what's going on in the Middle East about... I had an interesting question from somebody that looks up to me the other day, okay? And it was so shocking to me that I got this question, and it reminded me of a couple things I saw while I was campaigning for U.S. Senate, and I want to talk about it, okay? Because I think the reason we're talking about this is I think, and I know in my heart that there's a big problem with the younger generation about what's going on with Israel and Palestine right now. The younger generation is confused, I guess. I'm not saying confused. They don't feel similarly to people my age or older about Israel. And so I had this young person, and I don't even want to identify who this young person is. This is how touchy the subject is, because I don't want to get anybody in hot water, because everybody feels very strongly about this. I personally feel like the whole thing is a tragedy. I hate watching anybody die, and this goes back for centuries. I don't know enough to solve it myself, but I do want people to stop killing themselves, killing each other, okay? So this person looks up to me a lot, says, so who are we with in this Israel thing? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I mean, who are we with? And I said,
As if it's a question.
yeah, like, are you, Mayor? Are you with Israel? Are you with Palestinian people? Are you with Hamas? Who are you with? I'm like, I'm with Israel, of course. Are you freaking crazy? Of course, I'm a soldier. I was in the Navy. My submarine visited Israel. It's like, of course I'm with Israel. America's an ally with Israel. That's who we're with. And the young person's like, well, all this, the fact that they're living in an open air prison, and the fact that all this stuff is going on in Gaza, and they're being cut off with water and power. And I'm like, well, and then they said, well, in 1948, all this stuff happened. And this person's
They brought up like the UK and the...
Yeah, but this person's like in their 20s. And I'm like, dude, in 1948, my dad and mom weren't even born. Okay, I wasn't born. You certainly weren't born. So, like, why are you bringing shit up in 1948? Like, you're 20-something years old, right?
Yeah, I think it's, to me, it's very interesting because, and same thing, like I had this discussion at a dinner, and same thing. I was just like, well, of course, like, you got to be pro-Israel in this situation about what happened. I mean, you're talking about people that came over the border, this terrorist organization, and killed a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And well, what about the bombings in Gaza? And I said, listen, I feel terrible for what's happening to the Palestinian people that are just
the Palestinian people
that are literally just innocent civilians that are caught because they were born in Palestine, and this happens to be in Gaza, and this is where they're living, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, sometimes you don't have control over the government that is there, and Hamas is a terrorist organization, in my opinion. And
in your opinion, in my opinion, also, there's some people that don't feel that way. We acknowledge, but I feel the same way.
I don't think
that Hamas is a terrorist organization.
I don't think that they are coming to the table with Israel to try to negotiate a peaceful solution for the issues over in the Middle East in their area. Right.
One of the charters in Hamas is to kill as many Jewish people as possible.
I haven't researched that. I keep hearing that. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying I've never researched that. I'm just saying that it doesn't seem to me that since Hamas has been in control, there's been much of a peace process between Israel and Hamas. Now, if you look back a little bit and you realize that 20 years ago, the borders of Gaza were open and Palestinians would come across to Israel. So you've got a whole younger generation of Israelis that have lived in Gaza is closed off, right? So that's what they know, and it is what it is. But if you don't, I guess getting back to my point, when we invaded Afghanistan or Iraq, the people of Iraq and the people of Afghanistan didn't choose their government. It happened to be the Taliban and Saddam Hussein. And I guarantee you, Americans unfortunately killed civilians in Afghanistan, in Iraq. And I hate to say it, it's a casualty of war, and I'm not happy about it. I don't like to see
war
people.
sucks, man.
I don't like to see the kids in Gaza in hospitals.
For sure.
Right?
In hospitals that are being cut off with power and water.
I mean, nobody likes that, right? It's just, my hope is that there can be a solution at some point. It's terrible. And I get why Israel, if I was Israel, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, let's go, which is what they're doing. Same thing we did with, when Osama bin Laden and his folks decided to bomb the Twin Towers in New York. I remember President Bush saying, let's go. We're going after him. And we did.
When I was running for Senate, I remember getting questions like this from students. And they were like, what's your position on Israel? And I was like, I'm pro-Israel, of course. What are you talking about? And these were young students, and they're like, I'm not voting for you because we're pro-Palestine, and we think that Israel is, committing crimes on the Palestinian people. And I was so stunned. This was a year ago, and I'm like, and these are obviously Democratic young people. They're progressives. I'm like, you're not going to support me? You're going to support Todd Young, who has nothing in common with you because of my stance on Israel. And I was in the military, and my submarine visited Israel. It's like, come on, dude. Are you serious?
And don't, I'm not a great big fan of Netanyahu.
Nor am I.
But at the same, I'm sure there's more than enough, issues on both sides. But right now, in this moment, I don't see any.
Why do we get to negotiate this? Like, we are part of our national government supports Israel.
Absolutely.
Our state government supports Israel. And Hammond, I personally support Israel.
It's a democracy, by the way.
We live in America, and all of our leaders in America have made the decision to support Israel. So, like, I'm an American citizen. I don't really know much about the matter other than, what I read. But, like, I'm pro-Israel. And our military supports Israel. Israel supports America. It's like, why are we going to turn our back on Israel?
They were attacked. They're one of our closest allies. And the other thing I'd mention is, you hear this from American elected officials all the time, is Israel is a democracy within a area that is run by families and sultan or emirs and Saudi Arabia, for example. I mean, even though they're huge allies of ours, that's a family that runs that place. Okay. I mean, Israel's a democracy.
So let's take this. Now, Kevin and I got into an interesting discussion. Now, we laid the groundwork, okay? Now, this is where I need John and Jill. I want to ask you guys. Are you on TikTok, Jill? No?
Not really.
John, are you?
Yeah.
My TikTok algorithm is like hardcore on Palestine right now. Like hardcore. It's showing things like the perspective of the Palestinian people when they're getting bombed by Israel, right? It's showing inside a hospital in Palestine where there's people dying, or like a building that gets hit by an Israeli rocket and there's dead children and body parts everywhere. I'm seeing this stuff on my TikTok feed, and I'm not asking for it. I can't unfollow it either. This is a weird thing. It's like on TikTok, I don't have the option. Like if I see something on Twitter, I don't like it, I unfollow that person so I don't see that shit anymore, right? You don't have that option on TikTok, which is interesting.
I've noticed on TikTok that the algorithm is so much more intense. Like I did a thing, John, do you remember when we did that thing with like they had that filter where you could see yourself young, right? So I did that filter kind of just for the show as a joke, right? Just as a bit. And I could not, on my TikTok feed, it would be that filter every other flip of the. Yeah. So the algorithm is so intense. Like for what you're saying, like, so you.
But why am I getting pro-Palestine stuff?
Well, there's two answers. One, either like the internal algorithm of TikTok that is run by the Chinese government is pushing.
That's where I'm going.
Or is it just like maybe you liked something and then it kept pushing?
I didn't, Kevin.
John, do you feel like the algorithm is more intense on
100%? If you hang on a video just a couple seconds longer, they're going to start thinking that's what you want to see.
Right.
Okay. All right.
No,
so
I know what you're about to say, Tom. No, I know what you're about to say, and I agree with you.
This is the scary thing. Is like I've always said Todd Rokita's crazy with this Chinese TikTok. American government's being paranoid by saying TikTok shouldn't be allowed in America. But there's a part of me I'm seeing videos I don't want to see right now, and I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for all this shit on pro-Palestine. I don't want to see it. Like I didn't want to. Like during World War II, if we had TikTok, would we see the residents of Nagasaki as the atomic bomb dropped by America incinerates them? I don't want to see that shit either, right? It's what I'm saying is China can influence the youth of America very easily through TikTok now. Let's face it.
If
We're seeing a revolt of young people. I'm wondering if TikTok has something to do with it, because I watch this stuff all the time, and I'm seeing stuff that I didn't ask for, and it's definitely stuff that I don't agree with, and I can't get rid of it. I can't unfollow it. It's coming regardless.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that the issue really is, okay, number one, those videos, no one's saying that they're like fake videos. They're
I'm not saying they're fake videos.
Although,
I don't want to see these videos.
Right.
But it's a perspective. I get it. There's people dying in Palestine, and they're caused by Israeli rockets. I don't want to see it, though.
So I think John's point is an interesting one. Like when you hang on a video a couple seconds or 2 or 3 seconds, I think that helps, or not helps necessarily is probably the wrong word, but it gets into your algorithm.
I don't like anything pro-Palestine, of course, because I'm with the Israeli people.
Well, do you want to see the other point of view at all?
I don't. Kevin,
to
do you want to see the Japanese point of view when we're dropping nuclear weapons on their country? No, I don't.
Well,
I'm an American. I know that we're killing people. We killed little kids and old ladies when we dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I didn't see TikToks coming from Japan saying, look at us fry on a nuclear weapon.
But you're saying, like, I don't want to see it because I don't agree with it. I guess
I don't
want to
see it because I know they're dying. I don't like watching people die.
Yeah, I get that.
Just don't.
I get that. I guess what I'm saying is I don't mind seeing the other point of view, but that doesn't necessarily change my mind.
I don't mind seeing the other point of view, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think
I'm with you on that.
I think there's some programming going on. Honest to God. And I'm not a conspiracy freak, but I'm aware that the Chinese government owns TikTok. I'm aware that TikTok is feeding me shit that I didn't ask for, and it's influencing me because it makes me feel bad for the Palestinian people, of course, because I'm watching them die, and it's caused by our ally. But like now I see, and I also noticed that young people are super pissed at Israel right now, and I'm wondering, I wonder if this is related to TikTok.
Interesting point,
I wonder if this
Tom.
is going on with them also.
Well, here's a stat for you. This is a CNN poll. Israel's military response to Hamas attacks is fully justified. 65 plus years old, 81%.
Okay.
18 to 34 years old, 27%.
What?
I'm telling you, man.
CNN poll. Yep.
I'm telling you, man.
Did you see the protest?
That is shocking.
Did you see well, I don't know if it was a protest at the White House yesterday with, I think it was a
Pro-Palestine?
group of, no, it was a group of Jewish, I don't know if they were kids, but they were basically saying, stop using Jews as a reason to murder Palestinians.
Interesting.
He surrounded the White
so they're
House.
pro-Palestine Jewish kids.
I guess it's the narrative they were.
Yeah, they want war to stop. It sounds like, right?
I saw an interesting interview, kind of similar. Someone's brother was killed, and he kind of was absolutely against the current Israeli administration, and he was like, "Don't use my brother's death for
right."
But I think overall the narrative, or not the narrative, I think overall that's an really interesting statistic, and it supports what you said, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Like older people that grew up in our,
how many old people look at TikTok?
Nobody.
None. I'm one of the few 50-something-year-old people that's watching it.
And 18 to 27-year-olds
all
do.
I highly recommend it, by the way. Highly.
TikTok.
I love it.
That
it's
was
like
creepy.
better
Say that again.
It's better than TV, man.
Highly.
But like, let's take the next step, though, okay? Because this is having consequences for upper education. All right.
Yeah.
Harvard.
Tell me about it.
Just read what's going on at Harvard right now, and I know Kevin said Penn's going through something very similarly. Is we have a not-for-profit foundation. It's Victoria's Secret founder, billionaire Leslie Wexner, and his wife Abigail are breaking off ties with Harvard University, alleging the school has been tiptoeing over Hamas's terror attack against Israel. The Wexner Foundation's decision to end its relationship and financial support for Harvard is the latest fallout amid criticism from donors who were alarmed by Harvard's initial response to the attacks and to an anti-Israel statement issued by student groups. This is what they're saying. This is the Wexler Group, it's a billionaire group that gives hundreds of millions of dollars to Harvard, has over the years, and they're breaking off ties. This is what their statement is. We are stunned and sickened by the dismal failure of Harvard's leadership to take a clear and unequivocal stand against the barbaric murders of innocent Israeli civilians, said the Wexler Foundation's leaders. Their fortune is estimated to be $6 billion, according to Forbes.
Yeah, so I can tell you that my alma mater, University of Pennsylvania, which has which at least when I was there, and I'm sure it continues, has a very involved and big donor base within the Jewish population on the East Coast. The president and the administration got ripped because of they had a couple of pro-Palestinian, really, I thought, like vicious attacks on Israel and Jewish people kind of speakers there, and they backtracked and they were doing damage control immediately, and I was shocked really at why I guess the university even had that during a certain time of year. But it was weird, and I saw it too. I got a letter from the president, the whole thing. So it's definitely a big deal. And John, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just like maybe the messaging is just a little bit wrong with the younger group. I think the consensus is Hamas is a terror group. I haven't seen anyone sticking up for Hamas. I mean, this was a group that was elected and they stopped holding elections in 2000.
I've seen people
defending Hamas.
Yes, defending.
I don't think I haven't seen that yet.
I have absolutely seen it.
Wow.
They're saying that if you live in an open air jail for years at a time, of course you're going to strike back. I've seen people say that, and they've said fuck those people and stuff like that. I've absolutely seen it.
So this is interesting, and I've
seen it from Americans saying it.
Somebody that's a friend of the show and somebody I totally respect and has a good pulse on what's going on in Israel because I know that she's been there and her kids have been there. This is Shauna. She says in the chat, Israel's begging Egypt and all other surrounding countries to let the innocent Gazans into their country so they can go in and destroy the terror cells, tunnels, to protect themselves in the future. Israel can't take hundreds of thousands of people in their tiny country to do what is necessary to survive. I know many of these poor children who are fighting for Israel and have the exact same values as all of us. They don't want innocent people to die.
Right.
So,
this sucks, man.
It's a really shitty situation.
Oh my goodness, it's so horrible. The whole thing's horrible. I'm so sad about the whole thing, but I think that as Americans, we have to understand that we have allies, and it's important for us to have allies in this dangerous world
that are democracies,
and we can't turn our back on our allies and leave them hanging when they've been attacked.
That's right,
like they have. And Israel's our ally, and we got to stand with them. And so that was my answer to that young person that looks up to me greatly. It shocked me that I was asked that question, though. It stunned me. And now that we've talked about it with John's latest poll, there's a generational divide.
And I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that one of the goals has to be to do whatever we can to protect innocent civilians in Palestine, right? I mean, I hope that factors into what's going on. I think it is.
So too.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? World War III?
I hope not. No.
It could be.
I mean,
if Iran gets involved, that's not a good thing.
If Iran gets involved, yeah, we're heading down the wrong path.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
If Iran gets involved, we're teetering down the wrong path. I want to see what Russia's doing. I mean, I want to see what Putin says about this.
Dude,
so,
did you guys see this morning Putin meeting with Xi Jinping?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Like, this is weird stuff, man.
If anything happens with China and Taiwan,
bad.
We're in real trouble in the world.
If you got Russia, you've got Europe going.
That means
you got Middle East
powers
going, and you've got Far East going.
Yeah, I mean, our three major powers are all in active war against allies.
Sure.
I mean, Ukraine's not an ally. Ukraine's not an ally, but we want it to be, right? Taiwan's an ally, and obviously Israel is definitely right.
Not good. Not good.
All right. I hope we didn't offend too many of our fans. It's a tough situation. We try not to talk about stuff that's depressing, but I think that the topic there was more about generational divide about
and
young
TikTok,
people.
by the way.
And TikTok. I think I'm going to keep watching this. If I'm starting to agree with Todd Rokita. Oh my God. Oh my God. Am I starting to agree with Todd Rokita? I hope
so
not.
Crazy that you're
be.
saying that kids are even aware of this because all through school, so I have a minor in history and, I took the AP classes. We never made it past World War II.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that these kids even are aware of this and have an opinion. I mean, I couldn't tell you the background of the Middle East.
No,
I have no idea.
I couldn't either.
I took a couple of really good Arab-Israeli classes.
Yeah, if you take an Arab-Israeli class.
In college, I had a great professor.
Awesome. Good for you. All right, let's go ahead and bounce through the ads, come back, talk a little bit of Washington, D.C. dysfunction. We keep you up to date what's going on there. And Congressman Santos
keeps
went
giving.
Off last
the
week.
gift that keeps giving.
He is the best. He is on his way out of Congress, and he knows it. Yeah. So he's going to...
Is he?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, no.
Two-thirds.
He'll be
Two-thirds of Congress has
all
to
the
vote.
Democrats plus his caucus. He'll get 95% of that vote.
So, interesting
97% of that vote.
They said that Democrats should win that next year. So it's like,
Long Island.
Are they going to kick him out?
It's Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a Republican area, too, by the way. Everybody there's got dough. So, all right, let's go ahead and do some ads. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery, and they welcome you to their spacious tap room and their outdoor patio. Enjoy award-winning craft beers, a chef-driven menu, and craft draft cocktails. Their unique brewing equipment and production facility provides perfect backdrops for private events, whether it's a bridal shower, reunion, or a corporate party. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Customer service is their top priority at Byway Brewing. It's just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Are you currently navigating complex legal challenges? Unsure of where to turn for guidance? Your search ends here with Kuklakis Law, your trusted partner for legal solutions in Indiana and Illinois. Whether you're seeking expert representation for real estate transactions, need assistance in forming your business, or have experienced a personal injury at work or in a car crash, Kuklakis Law is here for you. No matter the nature of your legal issue, their team is ready to help. Call Kuklakis Law today at 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation.
Rogers Roofing. When you demand nothing but the best for your home and family, trust the industry leader, Rogers Roofing. For over 54 years, they've been transforming homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. Their commitment to quality shines through in their roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the most comprehensive warranties in the business. Visit their website at Rogers Roofing, that's ROGERS roofing.com, or call 219-933-9145 to schedule your free consultation today. That's rogersroofing.com, 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
That sentence is funny. Their commitment to quality shines through their roofing.
Thank you,
Ironic,
AI.
the irony.
AI.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store. Indulge in the finest Mexican products crafted with local expertise and savor the taste of authenticity. Discover the flavors of Tortillas Nuevo Leon today.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Thank you to all our sponsors, and thank you to our episode sponsor, Powering Indiana, Lake County.
Sorry, I threw the notes onto the floor.
What do we got? Ready?
Yes.
There's all kinds of national news going on. That we talked about last episode, John, while you were away, we talked a little bit about the House speakership and how ridiculous it is. And I actually referenced something that you always say, which is, one thing you'll give Democrats is they're good at sticking together, and the Republican caucus can't seem to get their shit together, which is kind of emblematic of what's going on in the House right now. So,
freaking shit show.
Yes, McCarthy's out because of Gates and that little rule that they agreed to, and then Scalise gets in and scoots out.
He didn't get in.
No, I'm sorry. He was the nominee by the caucus, and then he withdrew,
Right?
Because he knew he couldn't
Because
get to
if they put it to a vote,
217. Yeah.
they're afraid if they put it to a vote, all the Democrats are going to vote against that person, and then 5 of the Republicans will vote against that person,
Yep.
and that person will lose. And
Correct.
So,
and the hardliners are basically saying they weren't going to vote for Scalise, and also Congressman Santos. We'll get to that in a minute. And then and then they put up Jim Jordan, who is, Jim Jordan, I guess,
Congressman from Ohio.
Congressman from Ohio, kind of.
Wasn't he
all these
implicated in,
allegations, checkered past allegedly regarding wrestling
Denny
issues
Hassert.
at Ohio State. He was a
Right.
coach. But I
When
mean,
there was like a
beyond
sexual
that,
harassment
right?
scandal there, right?
Yeah, something.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
yeah,
heard
yeah.
about that.
It was the coach, and he was it was the head coach, and he was one of the assistant coaches,
And he stayed silent, didn't
and it was
say
like
anything.
a man on boys,
Yes.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like sexual harassment, like improper.
That nothing ever came of that, but it is known, I guess, that's been brought up in the past. So I don't know, true, not true, whatever.
I wouldn't undress in front of him in the locker room though.
And then so now they put him out after, and I know a lot of. Maybe we'll put that as the title. I wouldn't undress in front of him.
Jim Jordan.
In the locker room.
He may be speaker,
That's
but
a theme of the Republicans is creepy shit like that.
right?
Uh-oh.
And the creepier you are, the better. That's why I'm surprised they're kicking Santos
Like
out.
Gates, Bobert.
Right. Santos fits right in.
fits
Like, what the hell is the
That's
matter
like
with you
the
guys?
squad-
Why is he out?
the alternate squad.
Like, freaking Trump's got 30-something felonies. He's in, but Santos
91,
is
but
out.
who's counting?
But Santos is out. Like, what the hell did he do wrong? Like, he's not even charged with the felony. Oh, I guess he is, actually.
So this was interesting. This group called Accountability.GOP, which is run by guy named Bill Kristol, which is a former Bush-Reagan aide, obviously kind of like the old Republicans, right? Like the Mitt Romneys of the world, like your dad and like others. So they threw this ad out about Jim Jordan. It came out just yesterday, and I was like, wow, it's just John, it goes to your point about how it just seems like the Republicans don't seem to have their act together as a group.
Jim Jordan lied about the 2020 election.
Then they added fraud on top of it, and that's why President Trump wasn't elected president.
It was that lie that caused the insurrection at the Capitol.
I don't know how you can ever convince me that President Trump didn't actually win this thing.
They knew President Trump was going to win on election night, but they wanted to keep looking for and finding and counting ballots.
He almost destroyed our democracy.
Got 11 million more votes than he did in 2016, but somehow the guy who never left his house wins the election?
Jim Jordan should never be the Speaker of the House.
Seems a little dramatic.
For sure. So I just explained who accountability that GOP was. That was like for 2 minutes. Wow.
Former Bush-Reagan guy.
I'm going to start asking questions like that after Tom talks for 5 minutes.
It's never happened, right?
So anyway, it's actually, I was explaining it is old Bush-Reagan senior aides.
I did.
And so it's
I
like
did
the
remember
modern.
you talking
All
about
right.
that. Gotcha. Yeah.
So, but interesting, right? That this is like, I would think that would be something from like some progressive group or like some the Democrats.
It's so weird.
It's just, John,
I mean, who's the target audience there? The target audience is the congressperson.
Maybe moderate GOP.
But what I'm saying is they want it. This is literally like, why are they blasting this to millions? Because they want those people to call up their congressperson and say,
Correct.
how could you vote?
Don't vote for Jordan.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. John, do you think they're going to get the votes for Jordan?
I don't know. I mean, look, Jordan isn't perfect. I think my perspective on a lot of things, I think he would be great. We'll see.
Yeah. He definitely would. I think he'd shut the government down if he didn't get what he wanted.
Oh, the government's shutting down.
Yeah.
Like you think. What do you think's going on? The government's shutting down.
We can't even get a speaker so we can support Israel right now.
Dude, the government's shutting down. When is the deadline? It's in mid-November.
45 days from 3 weeks ago.
And they have to start doing like procedural moves so that it doesn't shut down. You think the government's not shutting down? It's going to be shut down through the winter.
We may not even have a speaker. There might even not even be an ability to do a continuing resolution.
They can't even get a leader, and then we're supposed to compromise with the administration and increase the debt limit, and you know that's not going to happen.
No,
there is a segment of the Republican
right.
Party that does not want to cooperate with Biden at all. They feel, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible. They feel that cooperating and continuing to rack up debt is failing. So the only way to do this is to stop the bleeding.
And Matt Gaetz will file a resolution to vacate the speakership again if you compromise. So. It's a mess.
You know what's weird is like it was like let's say 3-4 months ago, we had an episode where it was all like the government's going to shut down, but we got to do this. It's going to be good for another 2 years. Here we are again.
Yeah,
the government's going to shut down. What is going? No, but
it's ridiculous.
I agree.
But was it wrong a few months ago? We just went through this about the government shutting down, needing to raise the debt limit.
I don't think the government should ever shut down personally. But I don't understand how the government could never shrink.
I don't. Right, I agree. I don't like this idea of continuing resolution.
I know. Why is it always going deeper into the red? Like I don't get that.
Seriously,
like you can't stop the bleeding.
You would think.
Like what the fuck? Like seriously? Like in Hammond, if we don't have money, we just stop spending it. Like, why can't you do that?
As a Democrat, I don't like the Democrat solution of just do it. Just keep it moving. Just up the debt limit.
Right.
Like how about like, hey,
Dude,
let's critically look at this as a group and figure it out.
But like stopping spending a little bit. I mean, like you can't just control the size of government. You can't just just how about you lay a couple people off?
Yeah.
How about that? Like seriously, there's nobody in like some of your federal departments that you can't freaking trim the fat a little bit?
Nope.
Like why can't they? Like I don't get that. Like so like this is my criticism of Biden. Seriously, fucking negotiate with the Republicans. Like, put them on the spot. Like, give them something.
Yeah,
give them something.
Make it a hard decision.
It doesn't have to be Social Security. Give them something. Right?
I don't like the debate. The Democrats' position of no, you just have to keep the government open.
Agree.
It's like give them something so they have to think about it, and they can't. Then they can't be like, well, all they want us to do is just up the debt limit.
This freaking country, this Congress, the House in particular, needs to start working again.
Yep.
And if it doesn't, I mean. This is the most dysfunctional I've ever seen American government. Then, if you want to blow up government, then why did you run for fucking Congress? So you could go in there and blow it up. Like, that's what they're doing. They're blowing up the House.
And by the way, that's how a democracy works on compromise. A democracy only works when there's compromise.
And by the way, why isn't the president compromising? Yeah. He's not. Are you criticizing a little bit there, the Biden?
Absolutely.
Good.
I think that whoever's in charge of the Democratic position on the shutdown of the government
That's the president.
Needs to compromise and say, hey, how do we get this to work so we don't have another continuing resolution
Who
for
do
a
I
month?
talk to? Who do I talk to
days?
first?
60 days.
Who do
80 days.
Which one of you fucking whack jobs do I talk to negotiate so we can keep this thing running, right?
It's crazy. I don't think the position should be, okay, we're just going to blame the Republicans for a shutdown.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, should we save the Pence thing till next time and just do some
Sure.
Santos?
We'll save it.
All right. Pence is going broke, by the
All
way.
right. Yeah, we'll
It's
get
not
into that.
even really. Are we going to go
Let's
deep
do it
into
next
it?
time. No, let's go next time, though, because it's already 8:30.
Okay.
And
all right.
We got to
Santos
cover the
goes on.
Santos, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to do Santos.
Okay.
I don't want to miss that.
Because he's a topic now on the show. He's like up there with Rakita. He might get, but
Oh, my
So-
God. We should have him on the show.
he would come on our show.
I think he
Oh,
would.
wow.
He's crazy enough.
Steve, I
Steve,
want
reach
Congressman
out.
Santos on our show.
Yeah.
That would be fucking epic.
That would be awesome.
It would be
He
crazy.
would come on.
It would be crazy.
You know damn well he'd come on.
I don't know because he's under indictment
Steve?
right now.
No, he would come on.
Uh,
He's looking for
but-
people to return his texts. That's the
All
thing.
right.
He's
Okay,
looking
Kevin,
to talk
including
to
Steve
people.
Scalise.
Yes.
Kevin, he's under indictment, and yet he's doing all this ridiculous shit. If you're his
Exactly.
lawyer, would you, hey, go scream and run down the hallway of Congress?
So here, my opinion is that he's doing that because cameras and reporters are following him around anyway about his indictment. He's deflecting. He's trying to get off of his indictment and onto something that he can just scream and yell about.
Okay, let's bring him on then.
So
Would you?
here's-
So hold it. So if Santos would come on the next show, would you take him on?
absolutely.
Why? Just for the show?
Oh, be awesome.
We're not. By the way, we would not be unprofessional with the congressman. He's a congressman.
No, I mean, but no, I want to. I mean, it'd be a great interview. The guys.
You're going to say hilarious?
I don't know what to say about it.
Is
He's-
he
All right, Steve.
You
We
know.
want this guy. Are we all on board,
Yes.
Jill?
Oh yeah,
Jill, you want him?
If we can get him,
Sure.
All right.
John?
get on it, Steve.
Of course.
Congressman
Yes.
Santos, you have my word. As a 20-year mayor of Hammond, we will be professional and respectful of you. We would not. We don't cheap shot our guests. We never have, and we never will.
No, we like
We've been
to
out
have
for
him on.
250 plus episodes, Congressman.
10 seasons, not 10 years, 10 seasons.
podcasting for 10 seasons. You know anybody that's been podcasting for 10 seasons?
No.
Congressman Santos? That's right. No.
All right, so set this up, Tom or John.
All right, clip one here is Santos. There's a couple clips of Santos. This one is him kind of, even the reporter's a little confused. He's just kind of walking down the hall yelling about something, and the reporter's saying, who are you talking about? What are you referring to? Let's just play it raw. And
He's
go
got
from
like a
there.
And then-
scrum of
and then
like
go- so
30
background
reporters
later.
around
All
him.
right.
30 reporters following him down the hallway.
That's what it is. And the next time he tries to accost me with a child in my hand, I want him out of here. He's an animal. I am holding a child. He is a fucking terrorist sympathizer.
Who?
You can go look at the video.
Mr. Santos, who?
What happened?
Congressman Santos, who?
The gentleman back there is a terrorist sympathizer that has no business in this building. What is happening in Israel is abhorrent. What is happening to the people of Israel should not be defended. Nobody defending Hamas has any business in this building, whether you're elected, whether you're a civilian. It is a disgrace that we allow people to parade that kind of thought in here.
See, I mean, coming from him, though, you know, he's Jewish too, right? I'm just kidding.
Did he
Who
say
knows?
he was holding
No.
a child?
No,
Yeah.
he's Jew-ish.
Jew-ish. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I forget.
he's not actually Jewish.
Good point.
He
Thank you,
portrays a
John.
Jewish person on TV, though.
Yes.
So, like, we could take his word. And I agree with Joe. What the fuck is he holding a baby for?
So okay,
But also,
so
he's not holding a baby.
Well, he was holding a baby,
it was it?
which I think
Yes.
should be illegal. He's under indictment.
I think you can still hold a baby. If you want.
Should be illegal in the world I live in.
The
he's not allowed to
background
touch
was
babies.
that it was a staffer's baby that he was holding and just kind of, whatever. He was in the building. He was in his office building. And the staffer brought the baby to the office. And so he's holding the baby. Kevin McCarthy walked by. He showed Kevin McCarthy the baby. Kevin McCarthy acknowledged the baby. And then this guy comes up. And I don't even think there was an allegation that he, like, accosted him or anything. He just was like, hey, blah, 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 Palestine, blah, 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 blah. And it was apparently I don't know. I didn't get the full thing on who it was, but he then took offense to that and gave the baby back to the
Screaming.
staffer and ran down the hallway screaming.
Wow.
And again, so this is a this Republican Santos, champion of conservative values, running down a hall yelling the F word.
Yeah.
We have to get rid of these people. Republicans, listen, we have to vote these people
He
out.
said his mom died on 9/11 and she died in 2016.
Yeah, he
You've
said,
got
he said he was
Boebert.
Jewish, and he's not Jewish.
Jewish.
He said he was Jewish, and then he said, no, not actually Jewish.
You
I
misunderstood.
am Jewish. Oh, my bad. So
Got it.
when he talks about Hamas and the atrocities, I mean, I give him a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm. He's got the
Buzzwords.
background.
Here's the next clip.
Oh, this is great.
This is Santos's explanation on why he's not voting for Scalise.
Congressman Santos, can you talk to us about your never Scalise comments?
Yeah, it's never Scalise. At this point, we're going to have to find someone else in leadership that comes forward that's going to be a compromise candidate. But as for me, it's never for Scalise. Is it just because he didn't call you? No, it's not because he didn't call me. It's because if you're in leadership, there's 222 members of your party, 221 now. You talk to everybody. I've reached out numerous times to Congressman Scalise, and me reaching out and asking him for guidance in his leadership and him not reaching back out, that's a dereliction of his duty as a leader. So I'm not voting for somebody who lacks fundamental leadership skills. I don't know. I don't care, quite frankly.
He said what?
I don't know. I don't care. It sounded like he was a little offended by.
Yeah, so he got
Snubbing.
snubbed by Scalise, and he said, no, you're not getting my vote.
Wow.
I
don't know. I don't
guy.
care.
They
Frankly,
could only lose 5 votes, man. You got to play the game with this guy. If you're a leader,
that's
you got
why
to.
they're not going to get rid of him.
I know, but you got if you don't get rid of him, then you got to return the freaking guy's calls, right? You're freaking morons. Like, you got this moron in your caucus.
Scalise probably figured he's never going to be here when I'm running for
Right,
speaker.
but
McCarthy
there
will
you
never
are.
get out. Here we are.
Oh my God,
Yeah. So
It's
I
such a
love
freaking
that.
shit show.
Thank you, Congressman Santos, for being the gift that keeps giving. And we're looking forward to getting you on the show.
And Boebert. I mean, I was looking at the show notes from the last
She'll jerk
episode.
you off.
She's in a parking lot after they finalize the divorce with her ex-husband, and then they start making out.
How
Guys,
about squatting with a cigarette?
Can you believe what?
Go
ahead, Tom. Say the
bad
campaign
Maury
sign again.
Povich
Vote
episode.
Lauren
What was
Boebert.
that?
It's like a bad Maury Povich
Exactly.
It's bad.
John?
I'm sad.
Lauren Boebert.
Yep. She'll jerk you off. She'll jerk you around.
She's got John's vote.
Yeah. Unbelievable. What do you think her boyfriend was thinking when that
They
clip
broke up.
came out?
They broke up.
Did they?
Yeah,
She
after
found
she
out
found
he
he's a
was Democrat.
Democrat.
She found out he was
Oh,
Democrat.
yeah, she didn't know.
Didn't he own a strip club too, or wasn't there some
No,
weird
no.
business that he owned?
LGBTQ parties.
That's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
If he was Republican, she would jerk him off. But when she found out he was Democrat, she's like, no, can't do it.
Can't touch that.
That Beetlejuice. That Beetlejuice.
Can't touch that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, close it up.
Let's
Locomotive.
close it up. Thanks, Jill, for saving the show. We appreciate you.
I don't know that I did
Thank
that.
you for
You
getting
did.
here sockless.
And Sockless, showing up sockless to save the show. Thank you, Jill. Notorious LMP, hope you're feeling better. Javez,
Yep.
thank you, sir. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Chris did a good job. It was like very natural too. I think he's like assimilated well into the show.
Yes, agree.
Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
walked in and I was pissed off about something and I didn't even really acknowledge the fact he was here. I was just so used to him being in that chair. So it was nice. So I hope you had a good time on your trip. I'm mad
Thanks.
at you didn't go see the U2.
Yeah.
That's another.
And you know
that's
what's even
another
worse?
topic for another day.
Oh, my God. You know what's even worse? I saw a post the weekend we were there. So last weekend, Noel Gallagher at the Sphere taking pictures, like selfies
Whoa.
with you two.
Yeah,
I'm like,
shitting me.
I'm like, dude,
That's
how
your
did I?
hero.
I was there with Noel and I
You're
didn't go.
freaking unbelievable. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
But you know, I saw them both in Rome.
Yeah, I know
Noel
you
and
did.
you too. Yeah.
Kevin Smith, awesome. Thanks for doing late pre-show with me last night.
No worries.
We love this show, guys. We were there until 10 p.m. doing pre-show.
Whoa.
I drove back from Indy for the show for pre-show, and you know, look at the quality product we put out. So thanks, Kevin, and thanks to everybody. Season 10, episode 12 is a wrap. We appreciate you all. We love you. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, all that stuff, and we will be back on Friday with Jill in the studio to talk about more.
With socks on.
Jill
All
with socks.
right.
So thanks, everybody. Season 10, episode 12 is out. Lock Pod's out. Thanks, everybody.